what's going on, everybody? This is Jared here, trying to teach you a couple of cold weather cocktails that you can take on your next backpacking overnight. I've got my little brother Champ here. He's running the camera for me. Not well, I might add. This is my 4th time filming this, and he has recorded maybe a photo worth of film so far. So if you even get this recipe, treasure it, really treasure it. What we're working on here are a couple of cold weather cocktails that you can take on an overnight. I'm not telling you to try this for a long through hike. What I'm saying is if you're gonna go camping in the wintertime, you're gonna want something to warm you up, something with a little bit of grandpa's old cough medicine in it. These are going to be recipes for you. First, with an apple cinnamon apple cider, using a little bit of Fireball here. This is actually Grace's favorite. When I showed up, my sister-in-law Grace here, hey Jared, you got the Fireball? Well, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Grace. She said, shut up, where's my Fireball? I need to chug. That's why we only had half a bottle. She was already going after it. That was just uncalled for on every front. You take your apple cider, put a pouch or 2, maybe there's one in there from a previous tape, and then you add about 1/3 of a bottle of the old Fireball here. I wanna warn you here, if you're expecting to open this up and actually see a Fireball, Ryu or Ken situation, probably not gonna happen. Here we've got our apple cider in here, we've got a little bit of Fireball, we've been boiling some water here, we're gonna pour in that water there. You can make a Moscow Mule in here, but if you're on my side, we're against the Russians, right? I brought a nice little touch, stole this from Grace's kitchen, probably why she's so angry right now. Little touchy to touch. Got a cinnamon stick. You can bring these with you on a backpacking trip, bring a couple of them. And it's naturey. This is made of bark. Toss that in there and you let it sit for a minute or 2, and I tell you what, you're gonna have one of the best backcountry cocktails you've had in cold weather pretty much ever before. Careful with the brass mug though. The metal does get hot. It will burn your lips. I'll tell you what, that's just perfect, right? Apples, cinnamon, the flavors of Washington, flavors of Prohibition, all buried in there. So that basically covers it with the apple cider, cinnamon, apple cider, Fireball, whatever it is. It's a drink, right? It's got a little bit of sugar, a lot of bit of booze in it. It's gonna make you happy, keep you warm around that campfire. We're gonna start up the next one, hot chocolate up to be a really nice toasty, a little bit of warmth in your belly around that campfire. 3 different types of these Land O'Lakes hot cocos. They actually make a dozen different types of, find them in your local grocery store, whatever those are. Mint chocolate, so if you want to do a little grasshopper sort of situation, that one's pretty good. Grasshopper walked into a bar. Bartender said, I got a drink named after you. Really? You got a drink named Murray? Chocolate Supreme. Normal chocolate, but with more expensive footwear. And then here we have French vanilla and chocolate cocoa mix. This one's really good. One of the things that I learned when I took French class in high school, basically the same language as any of the other romantic languages, except at the end of every word, you tap on a comme ci, comme ça. People know that you're French. Good way to be respectful of other cultures. Which one should we make up today? A no from the camera. We got this one. We're gonna make up the grasshopper one later. The good news is we have plenty of booze to go in it. We're going with Champ's choice here. It's the French vanilla and hot chocolate. Here's the key though. It really doesn't matter. You're not gonna go wrong. Unless you put gin in it, because gin's disgusting, right? That's just gross. Came up here to the mountains. It's Thanksgiving, in the spirit of Thanksgiving. I'm just gonna list a few things that I'm thankful for. So I'm thankful for hot chocolate, this beard that's been growing in. You see this? I was gonna shave the beard actually, true story, but some meadowlarks set up a nest in there and I'm afraid to get rid of them. But it's been a good year overall. I mean, I know it's been bumpy for most people, but I feel like things are gonna be okay. Some Baileys. This goes well in all hot chocolates. This is just a little bit of Irish cream. It's just a nice one. It's not a high alcohol count, so you don't have to be super worried about getting super belligerent in the woods, which honestly I don't recommend. If you're in the woods, you don't wanna be smashed. So these little nips work really well. Remember to wash them out and recycle them if at all possible in your area. And then here, a little bit of Kahlua. Again, this is coffee liqueur, so it sort of complements that chocolate flavor. Now, some other options that you can get Frangelico. Frangelico is a hazelnut liqueur. It again would go well in all of these. I would probably stick with one of the standard flavors like a chocolate or a vanilla and that Frangelico. The mint probably wouldn't work so well. These certainly would. You could also get like a Grand Marnier. Don't call it Grand Mariner because then you sound dumb whenever you're in the liquor store. But a little bit of Grand Marnier with a little bit of that toasted orange and the chocolate flavor goes really nicely together. So we're gonna mix both of these in because we have a lower alcohol content for both of these. So it's okay to mix both of them and really get all of that flavor in there. It's gonna be pretty decent. I was asking Katie about this earlier and I was like, Katie, which one do you think is gonna be the best of the drinks? And she just looked at me. She lacks language skills. So I don't know if you were expecting an answer back, but if you were, then maybe you need to lay off of the Fireball, drink a little bit of tea, maybe something decaf, get some rest, because dogs can't talk. If you're learning that here today, I'm surprised you were able to find me on YouTube, to be honest with you. One of the things to know about Bailey's is that this is it's Irish, right? So it comes from Ireland. And then here, I brought some marshmallows. These are a nice little number. We're just gonna toss them in. In an overnighter, it's totally fine. That's one of the advantages. You can bring in a little more weight. It's not gonna kill you hiking up the mountain with a few marshmallows to make your night a little bit better. Bring a couple. If you're taking somebody who's never been backpacking before, particularly somebody who's never been winter camping before, it's a great idea to bring a couple little touches like this so that they can have a really great first experience. If you go into a really beautiful spot, it takes you a couple hours to get there, set up a nice fire, make a couple nice drinks, have some good conversation, and maybe arm wrestle, they're gonna have a great time, right? If for some reason you're not able to, maybe take an iPad in and show them Over the Top, the classic Sylvester Stallone, for my money, was robbed of Best Picture, Best Screenplay, and Best Actor in 1985. Might have been made in 86, whatever it was, should have won for both years. Because what he did is he would go over the top, over the top, over the top. So he would do this thing where he'd move his fingers. And if you didn't know that, in a sport like arm wrestling, 2 fingers on the either side of the thumb makes your whole arm stronger. I don't get it either. It's a crazy premise, right? This is true. I don't know why we're talking about this while we're talking about drinks. True story. The film premise, Stallone has to win an arm wrestling tournament to get custody of his son. My brother's a social worker. He might be able to tell us if there's ever been a situation where you've had to win an arm wrestling tournament to win back your child. I don't think so, and if so, then that tells us more about the system than it does about parenting in general. But we don't have to have it like scalding boiling. Then we're just gonna hit that right on top of our marshmallows and hot chocolate and Kahlua mix there. Next thing you know, just living that good life out here in the middle of the woods. So there we go. And one final last touch here. Brought in a peppermint stick. I've been eating these all day. Just a nice little touch. And that's what we have for you there, champ. A little Bailey's, a little Kahlua, some French vanilla hot chocolate, hot water, and marshmallows. Pretty simple. All stuff you could hike in on an overnight. Make yourself a nice little warm something to keep you warm. Pretty well covers it. Stick around. Next time we're going to be coming back. We're going to be working on maybe some black bean stew. Maybe we're going to work on a little bit of some poor man's pad thai, a little peanut butter and ramen action. We'll see how it goes. Until then, hope to see you again. Once again, this is Outside Comfort Zone. This is Champ. Special thanks to him. Special thanks to Grace for drinking half the Fireball since our bottle was way too big. I'm gonna go take care of my puppy, you go take care of your family, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Feel free to hike in a little can of the old Ready Whip, a little bit of Cool Whip. Don't do whippets in the woods, that's a bad idea as well.